All right, back on the special bonus edition of Advantage Connors. We have the NBA season starting up here soon at the end of July. We have our special guest, Lakers Governor Jeanie Buss, is with us to talk the bubble and everything that's going on down there in Orlando. Jeanie, how are you?
I'm good. I'm counting the days to see another Laker game. It just seems like we had finished some great wins early in March. We had beaten the Milwaukee Bucks, followed by a win over the Clippers. Then we lost to Brooklyn, which I didn't really understand. And then everything got shut down. Yeah. And so here we are in a position, hopefully, that we can finish out the season and play in the playoffs and live up to the promise that this team was showing early on in the season, and by being in first place pretty much the whole season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, first place in the West. You guys second overall, I think, behind Milwaukee, but you wouldn't have to deal with that till the finals. Right. So is it they're playing like a shortened end of the regular season, right? Is it 8 games?
Yeah, they wanted to give teams that were kind of on an upswing an opportunity to see and get into a playoff position. Which again, this has never been done before, so it's kind of hard to come up with why the decisions were made the way they were. Mm-hmm. And that meant that we only had 22 of the 30 teams competing. And the 8 teams that aren't competing, it's hard to be anywhere without without all of us. Mm-hmm. But they figured that there were teams that really did have an opportunity, if they could finish out the regular season, that they could make the playoffs or move up in their ranking. So this was the best way they came up with, was to play 8 games that will reseed the 22 teams and get us to the 16 so that we can start the playoffs.
And then is it regular playoffs, like the 5-game series to start?
Yeah, no, best every round is best of 7, okay. 4 rounds. And we thought about the reseeding of or making it no East and West, because here's an opportunity where if you're going to try it, this would be a good time to try it, because you're not traveling back and forth. But there was a feeling that so much in the world is upside down. Why do something that's that much more confusing? And let's get something that's like familiar and that people can relate to. So we're once the playoff starts, it will be the regular kind of format. And but there was also conversation about, well, how do you make a home game versus an away game if you're the home team? And so we talked about, do you give them an extra foul, an extra timeout? But there really wasn't anything that was fair enough. So it will be as the other sports are doing that don't have fans. There'll be fans piped in or whatever. So by that, you'll be able to tell who's cheering. There'll be more fans cheering for the home team than for the away team. Yeah. So to try to make it as familiar
as possible.
Yeah.
Can you go down? Can you participate, or are you going to go?
If I go, you have to quarantine for. So, excuse me, if I go down there, if you have to quarantine and you have to have, I think it's either 10 days or 14, and you have to have 2 consecutive negative tests to get inside the bubble. Then once you're inside the bubble, you can't leave the bubble, or else you have to go through the quarantine again. So it's very strict protocols, and they limited each team to only 35 people, and that's including players. So we have 17 players, and only, all the rest are trainers, and we only have 1 equipment guy. He usually has 2 assistants, 1 trainer, 1 strength coach, You know, we even had to leave one of our bench coaches, Lionel Hollins, home because we're
super strict.
Super strict.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. It's less risk, but then it's also very isolating. And that, you know, is a weight that, you know, missing your family,
Right.
knowing you're going to be away and isolated, and, you know, being able to see all the Disney World attractions that you can't go right on. But, you know, they do have a lot of golf, a lot of fishing. They can go out on boats. We've got pool tables. We have a barber shop.
I saw they're building the barber shop.
Yeah,
That's
which
awesome.
is great, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, the food has been, you know, kind of a challenge because we want to limit, you know, not a lot of interaction, which means not a lot of personal service. It's just, here's your box of chicken, you know, and that's about it. So we're trying to get that, you know, make that a little bit more homey, a little bit better. And then as we move along in the playoffs, there's opportunities for families to come. And so hopefully we'll be around until the end, which won't end until mid-October, which means it pushes back the draft. It pushes back free agency. And then, you know, hoping that we can start again in December for the next season. So
it's a quick turnaround.
It is. And that's, you know, but everything's fluid. Everything is like, this is what it is today, and tomorrow it may change, but we just keep trying to be the best that we can.
Yeah, there's enough stress, isn't there, trying to go out and win the basketball games, as opposed to leaving your family and leaving, you know, your everyday life, I guess, if that's the right way to say it, behind, and just, you know, being, you're almost being quarantined from being quarantined.
It's true. It's so true. It's so true.
It seems to be working, though. It came out yesterday, 0 positive tests out of the 400 guys or something, and women took the test, and so it seems to be doing good.
Yeah, and you know, that's, I mean, we may have to play it like that next year.
That's true.
You know, like, who knows?
Yeah. Well, time's like melted these 4 months. It's like all of a sudden it's August,
right?
You know, and you're so used to all these other like markers, like things that remind, you know, Kentucky Derby, the French Open, all these things, and you're just none of that.
And then when they just canceled the Rose Parade, you know, so like now we're talking January next year, and the Oscars have moved. Well, they canceled this year, or no, they had them this year. They've moved them to April of 2021 now. So, like, you know, are we going to be able to go see movies to even care about the Oscars? Right. You know, it's like.
Well, I know they've done that with the tennis tournament down in Palm Springs also. You know, they're not going to have any fans there. They may not even have the tournament. I think they've discussed that. So. I mean, we're looking, you know, we're just halfway through 2020 right now, and we're looking at what's going to happen in 2021.
Well, it was interesting to me, and I think this probably will happen more, especially in the music industry, but Garth Brooks did a concert, so it was a live concert, but the only place you could go see it was at drive-in theaters.
Oh.
Okay.
It's a good idea.
Right. So now a
Bring
person,
back the drive-in.
Right. So like people can feel safe sitting in their car, right? If you're going to get out and get something to eat, you put your mask on. But there, you know, like that to me was really interesting, because it's like human nature is like we want to be around people that think the way we do. So I want to be around other Laker fans when I'm watching the Lakers, because we all feel those same feelings. Garth Brooks, everybody there is a Garth Brooks fan, so I can look around and be part of something because we all like Garth Brooks, and to belong to that. And I think the human psyche's missing that ability to gather and do those kind of things. At least I'm hoping so, because I hope we haven't turn the world into a bunch of homebodies that are never going to leave their houses.
Yeah, staring at their phone, watching Netflix all day.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
but that's what you seem to think is coming, because if you look at the way everybody's gone and started working from home,
Yep.
that people have become very comfortable with that.
School too.
In school also. You know, I wonder what it would be like, you know, when Brett was little, and if I was trying to work from home, you know, with a family running around, and that would have to be very difficult. But still, the comfort zone is, you know, something to be thought.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, and the guys in the bubble dealing with it, like, you know, when you're isolated,
Yeah.
it's not really that good for your mental health sometimes, you
Yep.
know? So I think what a lot of people are missing are the camaraderie, you know, the going to the bar, watch a game, go to a game, you know, go to your buddy's house, sit on the couch, watch the Lakers play, you
Right.
know?
Right.
So that's something else they're going to have to battle under the bubble too, besides all the other teams and everything.
Yeah, yes. And there's a lot of good teams this
Yeah.
year that we're going to face.
Yeah. Well, you guys are the favorite, 2.5 to 1 to win the title. But you have the Clippers are right there too.
Well, it's like somebody said, we don't know a LeBron who's had 4 months off ever
Right. Yeah.
in his professional career. So, like, you know, is he going to come back even? Like, he was playing great basketball before the break. But then you also had players who were dealing with nagging injuries who are now going to be 100% healthy.
Yeah.
So I don't know how it's going to, you know, turn out if it's just if we're going to stay true to character and the teams that were at the top continue to stay there, or if it'll just flip flop and, you know, being in one spot is completely different than playing in front of your home fans.
Yeah, but how good is that going to be to see everybody healthy and everybody playing at their best?
Yeah.
And going out and understanding what it means to for everything that we've been through. You have been through with the cancellation of 3 or 4 months, but to go out and to say, listen, we can still make this something special.
Yeah.
You know, and keep basketball up on the pedestal that it should be.
I mean, I hope so. And I think, especially in this time of social unrest and, you know, not wanting to move the message off all the great things that have been talked about and been brought up for discussion, that I think it's not going to be a distraction. It's going to add, it's going to amplify all the ability for players to have the platform to speak about the things that are important to them.
Yeah, I think that'll be really good. And you're right that usually in the playoffs, teams are limping, they're doing everything, they're playing their guys that are hurt, you know, wearing each other out just to get there. And now they've had the 4 months, they're fresh, they can't wait to play. So it'll be neat because the quality of play might be the best beginning of a playoffs, you know, maybe ever.
Right.
Just because, you know, the guys aren't on the bench, you know, hurt or, you know, just trying to get there.
Well, I'll tell you that, like, the camera angles and some of the things that you're going to see are going to be new and that haven't been seen before, and I think it'll add a lot to the game. But then the promoter in me knows they're going to want those same camera angles when we're back, and like we're going to have to kill seats, and how are we going to put that camera in position? And
that's cool.
When you made the decision to do all this, how did you go about that?
You know, there was the idea that we would just shut down and play in front of no fans and finish out the season, just keep going. But the biggest challenge is that the state, the city, the county, the federal government, everybody's got a different protocol. So there was no way, being in 30 different cities, that we could come up with a plan that would match every jurisdiction's rules and regulations. So, you know, it really was because of our relationship with ESPN and Disney and Bob Iger and Adam Silver, coming up with something that was out of the box and, you know, hopefully will work. And so far, so good.
Well, I'm looking forward to it.
July 30th, Clippers, Lakers.
That's right.
On TNT.
We've had live golf. We've had some live tennis that you can watch now. But to get back to baseball, basketball, football, and even though without the fans, I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing something fresh, and live. And I already know who won the 1994.
All the replays you've been watching.
That's right.
There's so many replays, but to see something fresh is going to be great.
Yeah, and we're excited. And when I talk about like the jurisdictions and all the, I've really learned a lot about politics and, who's in charge. Nobody really is in charge. Everybody wants to second guess the other person. But we're a league that has been ahead of other leagues in terms of, because you said we were the favorites, in terms of gambling on games. And, we really would like to see it regulated at the federal level as opposed to right now it's state by state. Right. And we really need things to be equal so that, it could be fair for everybody. So
are you for the gambling? Yeah, you're for it, right?
Yeah, yes, yeah. Absolutely. I mean, it's you have to keep the integrity of the game. And I think that we're in a position of, we have good rules and regulations in place.
Yeah. Now you just have to wait. It has to go each state by state, right? Because they've done it federally, but then you have to go state by state.
Exactly. Yeah. So we're waiting for California.
All right. Get on it, California. Well, just thank you so much for the little preview. We'll be rooting for the Lakers.
Go Lakers.
Go Lakers. Thank you, Jeannie, so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.